Good morning, Robin. How are you? Good to see you. Good morning, the other Robin. The Robin and the other Robin. Good morning. Good to see you. Come on in, please, if you will. Go ahead and share this with everyone on our quiet Friday. Doing good. Good, Robin. I'm going to wait just a second, see if anybody else comes today. Let me see if Facebook is up. I'm not sure about that. Yep, looks like we're up on Facebook as well. Okay. Well, it's just going to be the couple of us today. So here we are on Friday, and everybody is, I guess, asleep today, still sleeping at 11 o'clock Eastern time. So we'll get started. I'm going to go ahead and read Psalm 5. Give ear to my words, O Lord. Consider my meditation. Give heed to the voice of my cry, my King and my God. For to you I will pray. My voice you shall hear in the morning, O Lord. In the morning I will direct it to you. Then I will look up. For you are not a God who takes pleasure in wickedness, nor shall evil dwell with you. The boastful shall not stand in your sight. You hate all workers of iniquity. You shall destroy those who speak falsehood. The Lord abhors the bloodthirsty and deceitful man. Amen. Thank goodness he does. Hey, Danielle, good to see you. Danielle, are you? Let's see. You came in not on YouTube as well. Okay, cool. Well, I guess we could just say we won't do this today because nobody's here. I don't know where everybody's at. I don't know what's going on. This is not that typical to see only a couple people. Hey, Judy, good to see you. I was just getting ready to leave, Judy, because nobody was here. So I guess we can get started for a minute and see if anybody else shows up. And if not, we'll just end early today because, I don't want to waste your time or anybody else's time. Just us birds today. Yep. How are you? Can't comment on Facebook. I'm blocked. Uh-oh, Danielle. Good morning, Diana. Good to see you. Donna's here. Thank you, Donna. Hello, Cully. Good to see you. Rue, good morning. Everybody's getting in here, but they're getting in here late. It's like, you guys, you just had me worried here today because nobody was here for a second. So, thanks, Donna. All right. Good morning, Renee. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. The notifications came late for me. Judy said, wow. Happy Friday. Paula said, happy Friday, Paula. I'm here. That should be enough. There you go, Robin. All you need is, just one person to show up and just go for it. We're lazy bums. Oh, gosh. Well, it's Friday. Good morning, Gwendolyn. How are you? Good to see you. Gwendolyn Morton, good to see you. All right, so let's get started. As you probably heard, there was a shooting in Indianapolis in the FedEx building. 8 people have died. I guess that includes, hey, Michael Walker, good to see you. Good morning, Sally. That includes the shooter, the gunman. A couple of, I don't know how many other people, at least 4 or more, have gone to the hospital. Some are in critical condition. Such a horrible thing, starting to happen more and more. There was an incident in front of, I think it was the international airport yesterday in San Antonio. A gunman was out there, they supposedly shooting at people. I think he was neutralized. So it seems odd that we're having all of this going on. And when I say that, you know that I don't mean it's odd at this point. And it's, oh my, 8 people. Why is this happening all of a sudden? See there, Rue, exactly what I'm talking about. For 4 years, we were relatively quiet, although we did have some incidences. But all of a sudden now it's like, whoo, here we are. And it just seems, too unreal to be a coincidence, if you will. And I don't think there's been a motive yet that I've heard. I listened to an earlier news conference. It will keep happening until they get their gunnage into pass. Yeah, exactly, Robin. They have a big gun grab coming up, and they'll just keep going with it. And I know this is going to sound conspiratorial, but there has been a lot of documentation on it that sometimes, I won't say which federal agency. Hey, Ewitty, good morning. Some federal agencies have gone and basically talked to people who were, not too stable. And I don't know. I don't know if you can. Well, you can drive somebody what they call driving them crazy. And I think some people who are right there ready to tip over to the edge, it's quite possible to convince them that they should go and do something. I'm not saying that's what's happened in this case, but I'm saying that is something that has been talked about. This wasn't happening under Trump. We know what's going on, Robin said. Bonnie said, I'm on Clouthub and I assume you cannot see me. I can see you over here, Bonnie. I can't see you in any chat since they don't have a chat on Clouthub. So I can see you here now that you've told me that you're here. So unless you tell me you're here, I don't see you. So uh, let's see. Robin said we just passed laws in Alabama going against the federal law. I guess the federal gun grab is what you're talking about. Good morning, Ron Morrison. How are you? Good to see you. All right, so let's continue on. Mike Lindell's social media network, Frank Speech, is going to launch on Monday. If you haven't checked it out, go to frankspeech.com. On Monday is going to be kind of a marathon. He's going to be there all day long. When he said, Robin, a lot of things weren't happening under Trump. Yes, Danielle, I see you. Yeah, when you speak, I see you. And if you don't speak, I know you're there, but I don't see you. I'm just kidding. All right. So let's go on. Let's talk about censorship because that's something that we need to talk about, and we see it all the time, and it's one of those things that we can't turn a blind eye to. Although I think they would like to convince us, censorship isn't really happening. But we all know that it is. So let me bring this up for you. Let me get this in here. I want to make sure the sound is working for the next one that's coming up. All right. So here we go. This is on Facebook. Facebook and Instagram block users from sharing the New York Post report on BLM co-founders' multi-million-dollar property purchases. And this was Black Lives Matter co-founder Patrice in a predominantly white neighborhood. Not only was it a predominantly white neighborhood, but I am familiar with that area. You have to be pretty rich to be able to buy anything there. Sorry, my hair is in my eye. Good morning. You can't see me. I'm in the spirit world, Ruth said. For sure. Okay. So you're not allowed now to talk about purchases. Hey, Jennifer, you're listening today. Cool. You're not allowed to talk about somebody who is taking money as a nonprofit and buying multi-million-dollar property. Okay. So that we need to protect people like that because, no good reason. But anyway, so she'd also looked into purchasing a residence in the Bahamas at an ultra exclusive resort where Justin Timberlake and Tiger Woods both have homes. Oh, wow. And the article was published in April and states that 4 high-end homes for $3.2 million in the United States since 2016. Wow, that poor thing. Jennifer said her sound went away. Maybe just check your connections, Jennifer. Let me put this on here. Go out and come back again. Check your connections, Jennifer, or go out and come back in. All right. I know. All right. She looted BLM. Well, I mean, she's the co-founder, right? Because other co-founders that we've ever had, we certainly scrutinize them about how much money they're making and what causes they're giving to, and all that stuff. But we're giving her a pass, because I don't know why. You tell me, why would we be giving her a pass? And let's go and listen to just a moment of what she has to say. in her own defense, good, Jennifer, you're back. She's doing what all good Marxists do. She learned from Sanders' home buys. Yeah, people taking videos from our riots are getting censored. Any conservative view is taken down, Judy said. Woody said, too bad I have morals. Otherwise, if activism pays that well, I would start a nonprofit fighting for the left. There you go. Well, the left, that's where they have a lot of money. So let's listen for a moment. Let's let Patrice tell us why she's doing what she's doing. And we'll be right back. Let me know if you can't hear it, but you should be able to.
Also a critique, though, from the left that would say, if you are a trained Marxist, if we're talking about a certain kind of radical politic, that extravagant homes of any sort or multiple properties of any sort is itself contradictory to the ideology that you hold. And so it's not about having money per se, but that it's about, or about property per se, but it's about there being a potential contradiction between your expressed politics and your lived practice.
Sure. And I think that is a critique that is wanting. And I say that because the way that I live my life is in direct support to Black people, including my Black family members, first and foremost. And for so many Black folks who are able to invest in themselves and their community, they choose to invest in their family. And that's what I've chosen to do. I have a child, I have a brother that has severe mental illness that I take care of. I support my mother, and I support many other family members of mine. And so I see my money as not my own. I see it as my family's money as well.
Yeah, well, I see it not as your own too. I see it as belonging to the nonprofit organization, and you're using it to benefit yourself and other Black folks, I'm sure, with other people's money. There you go. Well, she even said in the beginning, right? I don't see it as my money. Well, that's good because it really isn't your money, except the fact that you are a co-founder. So I kept it for me and my family, exactly. And also for some other people that might want to come over when we invite them over, but don't wait and hold your breath. We all have that obligation, Robin said. That was a runaround, Barbara said. She's using this money for herself. No, it's for her family, Danielle. And all Black people should understand that. And I'll tell you, she's supporting her family in style because, like I said, sorry. Sorry, I had a coughing fit that I didn't think that you would hear. I guess that was Susan Do Not Choke to Death live on air. Each member gets a house, or at least a co-founder, maybe. Judy, I was just coughing, and I didn't think anybody wanted to hear that. I'm here, I'm back, and just coughing. Just had a tickle in my throat that made me start coughing. The usual, we investigate ourselves and found nothing wrong. Oh my gosh. I'm going to start coughing again. If I do, I'll mute it, but I'm okay. Yeah, I'm back. You wanted to hear? Oh my gosh. I liked when Judy said, identify as a member of her family. Yes. Wouldn't that be great? You can just say, hey, I'd like to move in. Take your time. We're okay. Thank you, Robin. The woman chokes you up. Yeah, obviously. I got laughing too much and got choked up about it. Okay. So unbelievable. Also, let's take a quick listen. Since we're on censorship, let's take a quick listen to the latest censorship. We won't get very far into it, but I wanted you to hear this. Okay, 1 second. This will allow me time to choke as weird as you're watching it. Just kidding. All right, here we go. I want to play for you the latest censorship.
Now yet another tape, explosive, from Project Veritas showing the same fake news CNN staffer we've been showing you all week, admitting that the network is, quote, trying to help Black Lives Matter, wants to further the left-wing agenda. Take a look.
I was trying to do some research on like the Asian hate, like the people are getting attacked or whatever. A bunch of black men that have been attacking Asian. So I'm like, what are you doing? Like we're trying to like help like with the BLM and like you're gonna like. I mean, it's individuals. It's not a people, you know. That's not good. The optics of that are not good.
Remember that same CNN employee also admitting the network used COVID death numbers for ratings and, of course, the political benefit of the left. And get this, earlier today, Twitter banned Project Veritas founder and CEO James O'Keefe just as these new videos were trending on that platform. In response, O'Keefe says that he is suing Twitter for defamation and falsely claiming that he was operating fake accounts. Here to explain more is James O'Keefe, along with his attorney, Harmy Dillon, as well.
Okay, so I'm just going to stop it right there. They are supposedly James O'Keefe is going to be suing and filing a lawsuit standing on Monday against Twitter and other people for defamation. So, yes, they are. Is BLM registered as a nonprofit? From what I understand, they are, Tim, but it doesn't really matter. They can identify as a nonprofit these days, right? And they should be okay. Do these people do witchcraft? They put a hex on you? No, I don't believe in witchcraft, Ewitty. My God is stronger, more powerful than any witchcraft. So Barbara said, I'm on a 30-day no live broadcast on Facebook, posted a pro-gun meme. So sorry, I'm late, Susan. Oh, no problem, Debbie. You might want to go back and watch the replay. We just talked about a few things, and I had a coughing fit. But other than that, don't worry. The sound that fell off was just me not wanting people to hear me coughing. So that would be good, I guess. And here is another did you know category type thing that I wanted to bring up for you. Let me get this started. And this is pretty interesting. I heard this yesterday. So I don't usually like Karl Rove, but he had some pretty interesting things to say. And maybe you heard this, maybe you didn't. Let's take a listen. Here we go.
Think about this. Democrats have set up a thing called Arabella Advisors. I should say the left has set this up. Money, liberal donors, corporations, and so forth who don't want to have their names made public give money to Arabella Advisors, which is a nonprofit advisory group, which then funds a bunch of different groups, over 300 groups. One of them is called the 1630 Fund, which employed Jen Psaki and the woman who is in the Presidential Personnel Office in charge of judges, named Paige Herwig. And they are out there campaigning for all of these things that we've been talking about, expand the Supreme Court and so forth and so on. The Arabella sends plenty of money there to the 1630 Fund. They then take 51% of their money and spend it on issue advocacy. They've got a group called Demand Justice, which is leading the fight to expand the Supreme Court. 51% or more of their money goes to that. And then 49%, no more than 49% goes to campaigns. They took the 1630 Fund, gave $60 million, one little group itself, $60 million to the Biden campaign. Arabella in the 2018 cycle had $635 million that it distributed. We don't know what the number is yet for 2020, but it's going to be easily over 800 million or 900 million, maybe even $1 billion that they funneled into left-wing causes.
Now, how could that even be possible? I mean, my gosh, but alas, it is. And you're not going to hear anything about that. Yeah, unexcused tardy there, Debbie Ruth said. Okay. Now, here's some more things that this I don't know. Sometimes on Fridays, it seems almost like a Ripley's Believe It or Not. But then again, it seems like that most days. Let me see if I can bring this up without a commercial. It was funny. I brought this up earlier, and now it's on a tiny, tiny screen. So hopefully you'll be able to see this when it starts after the ad. So 1 second. Okay, here, let me bring this up for you. Okay. And again, this is one of those Ripley's Believe It or Not days, but hopefully you can hear this if you can't see too well. Here we go.
This is explosive information. This is probably the best UFO military filmed footage, certainly that I've ever seen, but I think also that the world has ever seen. The US Navy photographed and filmed pyramid-shaped UFOs, or commonly called UAPs now, and advanced transmedium vehicles. There were a number of anomalous contacts, or what they call UAPs or UFOs, that swarmed these carriers, that swarmed these destroyers, some of these stealth craft. So what you're seeing is some of what I obtained and released is some of that footage. These are 3 images that exclusively George Knapp at Mystery Wire released just prior to everything that I released. They represent 3 separate objects, or in the classified briefing to intelligence communities that was put out May 1st, 2020, for anybody that has access to those systems. These are represented in that intelligence briefing as 3 separate craft. The Acorn, the blimp with payload, or metallic blimp with payload, and then the white sphere. We were able to double confirm and then triple confirm that indeed these are educational tools to teach, again, the intelligence community about this UFO presence here on planet Earth, flying with impunity in our restricted airspace. So these 3 photos represent unknowns, unidentifieds. A lot of people who are enlisted and on active deployment, they feel that they are not being properly prepared or briefed about how to handle these types of things in the future that could cause mid-air collisions, problems of misidentification that could in fact cause an aggressive attack. I can confirm to you, and it has been confirmed also by the Pentagon themselves, by a spokesperson, that these images that George Knapp released, as well as the 6 images and actual film footage that I released, that all of this is contained within these investigations by the UAP task force, and that these are unknowns, meaning they've already ruled out the typical things that you would expect, like balloons or basic drones from another country.
So we'll stop there. Very interesting. A lot of people believe that one of the things depends on, your belief and when the rapture happens, but a lot of people believe that this is the way they're going to explain how the Christians disappeared during the rapture. It's going to be all about a UFO. And it seems funny that we're starting to get things all ramped up. And from what I understand, this was also going on under President Trump's administration, and he was going to be talking about it, but they advised him not to. Is this one more thing to instill fear and want our government to protect us from? Love Truth said. Is that Melanie? I'm not sure over there who you are on YouTube. So yeah, it could be, but also it could be something they could use to their advantage in that way. Yes. Barbara said, but they do not exist as they cannot train them. Barbara said, holograms, Ruth said. Well, I believe we are not alone. The truth is out there. I have seen them, Barbara said. And now Tim said the left now controls most of the great wealth in America today. Yes, they do. And isn't it funny, Tim? If you talk to them, they're the ones that talk about, oh, we want to help others, and yet they help less. Most of them do, in giving to charities and things of that nature that we've seen anyway. But they give to their causes that fit their agenda. And Diana said, and so it starts. Barbara said, well, okay, please do not let them leave me. I will wait on my front lawn. Okay. There you go, Barbara. All right. Now this is something that I saw yesterday that you are certainly not going to see in the mainstream media. And let me bring this up. Hopefully they didn't take it down already. Let's see, you should be able to hear this clearly. I heard about this years ago. The fake aliens, Ruth said. Since when do we trust the government to tell us the truth in light of all the things they have lied about in the past? Exactly, Bonnie. Very good point. Okay, let me start this, and we'll bring this up for you to see and hear.
Okay, guys, this is what they were so desperately trying to hide. Every one of these women is pregnant. Every single one. Okay? That's why they're being allowed into the country without actually having children with them. Well, there's one child, but the majority of these women are pregnant. And this is what's going on. This is the long line of illegal migrants that they did not want you to see. This is why they called the police on us. This is why they said we could not be here. But here we are. And the police agreed with us that there's nothing they can do about it because we are exposing the truth. We are following all the laws. Just count, folks. Just count. Just count with me. Stop this video, play this video as many times as you want, okay? And again, this is just one more group tonight. Just one more group. It never stops, okay? Now, we've talked to migrant women.
And let me just draw your attention right there to the back of this woman's vest. I don't know if you can see it too well, but it's staff from Catholic Charities. So basically, I forget anchor babies. John, very good. Good to see you. Anyone that is interested in aliens from a biblical perspective might want to check into Chuck Missler and L.A. Marzulli. Me Kaufman says. Good point. How did they get pregnant? Well, probably old-fashioned way, Danielle. But one of the things these Catholic Charities and other groups bring in these people, and they get it's close to, I'll just say it's 1,000 plus a head. I can't remember how much it is. There are only about 9 charities in the United States that deal with the migrants that get paid. Other people don't get paid. And so when these people have their children here in the United States, those children will be United States citizens. Good to see you again, John. This is a drop in the bucket as to how many immigrants coming in. Oh, Paula, it's a total drop in the bucket. They're assuming or counting on about 1 million immigrants here this year. I'd say it's probably going to be more than that. They make a great deal of money off of illegals. They do, Judy, a great deal of money. The Catholic Church is so evil, Danielle said. Well, people who are Catholic don't feel that way, but I understand your point of saying that. Welcome, the American taxpayer will pay for your American baby. Yeah. Well, and not only that, Ewitty, but when you have the American baby that's here, then you have an anchor to bring the rest of the family in. And you also have future voters. They're going to be raised knowing that, it was a left-leaning president that brought them here, that they were given an ability to come to another country for a better life. And so why wouldn't you be Democrat for the rest of your life? I heard it was 2,000 a head to Catholic Charities. Yeah, it's somewhere. I didn't want to say the amount, Barbara, because I don't know for sure. I used to know, and I had a lot of people on my show when I was having guests on my show. And around that time, I believe it was around $1,200, but I thought it was closer to 2,000. Will become South America. Well, Danielle, that's the point. If you can destroy a country by bringing in people that are more than the citizenry in the country, or, just basically take over by diluting, if you will, the American citizen, then everything that the Americans believed in not going to be here. Well, we're already doing that anyway, except they're escaping. They're left in their own country. They are escaping. Yeah, but they won't, that won't be an issue. Bonnie, when they get here, it'll all be about we saved you. Judy said Lutheran groups do it too. Yeah, there are 9 charities in the United States, only about 9. And the more people that they bring in, the more money that they get. And Catholic Charities, I don't know what they're going to do with them, my guess is they're going to be released and go anywhere that they want to go. And also, if there was ever a mention about deportation, it's the Catholic Charities that would protect them and give them sanctuary in the churches. So that is a video on Facebook. If you want to see it, look up Tim Enlow, Enlow. Tim Enlow was filmed on April the 12th. I haven't seen that video elsewhere, so I couldn't give you another link. Look at what they're doing to Minnesota. We used to be those nice folks, Judy said. Yeah. They carry their flag from the ruined communist country. They left as well. And not only that, but in California, especially this, I believe this happened in San Diego, the people weren't allowed to bring their, the American flag wasn't able to be flown at certain events, or you couldn't wear the American flag on your t-shirt at school, but those from, let's say, Mexico could wave the flag and wear the flag on their shirts. So we're at the halfway point. If everybody would please share and retweet or do whatever you do at this point, please do it. Thank you for those who reminded me it was halftime. The government doesn't want to mess with American citizens anymore. They just want people they can control. Well, they want people there. It's not about messing with the American people. It's what can we do to transform America? And we've already broken down the family. We've already tried to shut down the churches. We try to change everything about, we're not really supposed to read the Bible anymore and talk about the Bible or use it as a gauge as we used to. And we're even trying to say under Obama that this country is not a Christian based country, Yeah, the voodoo you do. There you go, Ron. So, yeah, this is all a part of the globalist elitist plan that has been in place long before now. This is long before Obama. This is something that's been around forever. It's just that in the past, they were very subtle and they would take their time about getting here. But now, because we are where we are, there's no more taking their time. It's all or nothing. Here we go. Do that voodoo that you do so well, Ruth said. The Great Reset is what they want. Well, they want the New World Order or the one world religion, whatever you want to call it, that is spoken about in the Bible. That's what they want to bring about. And they're doing it very well. That's why, when people want to know where you are on the end times timeline, we're way far ahead. Okay. Just because I know we all have different beliefs about the end times and where we are in timelines and when the rapture comes or doesn't come or whatever. But let's just say, as far as the end times is concerned, we are light years ahead of where we were. And now they will destroy anything in their path to get it. Yes, they will. And they're doing that. They're taking out the conservatives because the conservatives are the ones speaking out and trying to stop this. They're taking out, the Christians by closing down the churches and getting them not to congregate together. And the so-called people who claim to be Christian pastors are going along with it for the most part. That's why they want to get rid of us. Yes. And, so on and on and on. And we see it happening. And it shouldn't be as a big surprise to us. Now, let's move on to another way of how they have been trying to rid the world of us, at least the country anyway. Here's something that just came up. It says here that face masks are dirty, dehumanizing, and ineffective. A Stanford University, and for all those who don't know, that is pretty much a left-wing university. Stanford University says the data suggests that both medical and non-medical face masks are ineffective to block human-to-human transmission of viral and infectious disease such as SARS-CoV-2 and COVID-19. Wow. This from as I said, a very left-wing group. I'm going to leave for you the link to the article so that you can go and see that yourself. It says many countries across the globe utilize medical and non-medical face masks as non-pharmaceutical intervention for reducing the transmission and infectivity of coronavirus, blah, blah, blah. Although scientific evidence supporting face mask efficacy is lacking, adverse physiological, psychological, and health effects are established. So it goes on and on and on. I would say take that link, go look at it, and then retweet it out and share it out to everyone. Paula said, yeah, she didn't know that. Just wait. We, the people, will destroy the left. They have no idea what is brewing. C.W. Dean said, well, you know, we're going to, one of the things is we're destroying evil. Let's just say that. And God is exposing all of it. Who knows what people are or aren't going to do. I know you're not talking about anything illegal, immoral, or unethical. So at least I hope you're not. But God is working, and we know that he is. So let's see. Now, here's some other ways to get you under control and to start scaring you, because as you know, we have a lot of not a lot, but a few states, Republican run, that are trying to get back open. And the way that we're trying to get back open is to say, okay, maybe no mask mandate, things of that nature. We've had DeSantis who said that for one, but look what is coming now. The World Health Organization chief says the COVID-19 infection rate. So look at this headline, the infection rate approaching the highest of the pandemic so far. But as we read on, it says the number of new COVID-19, hold on, let me get lost my place, cases per week has nearly doubled globally over the past 2 months, approaching the highest rate so far during the pandemic, this said by the World Health Organization. So here we are again, back to cases versus infection. And say, oh my gosh, we're all going to die. I got to get out there. I got to get my vaccine. I got to get my mask. I got to social distance. I've got to stay in the house. I've got to stay underneath the house. I never want to go outside. I certainly don't want to go to church, you know, that kind of thing. That's the type of response that I'm sure they're hoping for. C.W. Dean said, for sure, God is at the center, never will promote illegal activities. Absolutely. Okay. So just keep that in mind when you see those headlines, and know that they are going to try to ramp it up again, because again, we are starting to feel a little bit too comfortable, as if, wow, maybe we can go outside and everything. Supposedly our town, Midland, Michigan, in number 2 in the nation for growth, Kaufman said. Wow. Well, I don't think California is, and I know Texas is probably number 1. Thanks, Ron. Now I have Sting Sing. Oh, you have this, dude, yeah. You got that a song you're stuck in your head. Thanks to Ron. It's a smaller town, so very strange. Me Kaufman said. That is interesting. Okay, so this just in for all of you who rolled up your sleeve and thought the worst was over. Pfizer's CEO says people will likely need a 3rd dose of that virus vaccine within 12 months of getting, quote unquote, fully vaccinated. So just when you thought you were done, get out there, roll up your sleeve again, because the CEO says it ain't over until he says it's over. Jim Jordan destroyed Fauci yesterday. Yeah, I saw that. That was Fauci couldn't answer a single question. All right. Here's some other information that I have. Let me bring this up for you. Blood clots occur, according to this article, with Pfizer and Moderna vaccine at similar rates to AstraZeneca's study. Now, I'm going to leave this link for you in case you want to go look at the article yourself. So I thought blood clots were only with AstraZeneca, and now you're telling me that may not be true. And of course, liberals had to reclaim their time again, of course. I heard that, Robin. You need to shut your mouth, respect the speaker. When the speaker was trying to answer for for Fauci by saying that we won't be back open again until 90% of Congress or whatever has the vaccine. So excuse me, Speaker, I didn't know that you were a doctor too. It seems like everybody is a Dr. Fauci. Barbara said, well, they really said that in the beginning because now they will give you more experiments. What about Rue starting up too? Okay, so so anyway, you might want to go peruse that article. And there's some more information as well. Let me bring this up for you. All right, that page, for some reason, they took that page down. That's very interesting. So let me go back here. Let me see if I can get that again, because that was very interesting. And this was a figure that, and suddenly it's disappeared. How unusual is that they've taken down information? All right, let me bring this back up. Okay. All right, so I was able to get that back for you. And here we go. 5,800 fully vaccinated Americans have contracted the virus and 74 have died, this according to the CDC. And those are only the ones that are being reported, I'm sure. I don't think we're getting the full report. Nearly 400 required treatment at hospitals. And it says a little over 40% of the infections were in people 60 years of age or older. 65% were female. The CDC declined to make a state-by-state breakdown, I guess, because they don't want to scare the hell out of you, at least not yet, at least not that way. Breathing and pulmonary embolus is highly overrated, Melanie said. Third dose booster in 1 year from the first dose. I guess it's a quarterly jab. Yep. Yeah, what's a blood clot or two there, Rue? Year after year after year. Yep, exactly. Yeah, Melanie said, what's a blood clot or two? They tried to get me on another quote last night, but it was a JFK quote, so they said, okay. Well, that's because they want oh, never mind. It must have been factual article is why they took it down. Could have been. All right. So here's some, yesterday I was talking about this. And this, we know about the Johnson & Johnson that was paused because of alleged blood clots. AstraZeneca, let me see some more information on that. And it's just so odd that, before today, we really didn't hear anything about any of the Moderna or Pfizer people. But here we are with this. Let me bring this up. Denmark has permanently stopped using AstraZeneca. Well, why is that? They said the country's rollout would continue without the AstraZeneca vaccine. Health authorities cited possible link to rare cases of blood clots. Wow. And guess what? Guess what your recourse is? Nothing. You're just out of luck. Okay. Here's what's going on in Orange County. Now, there was a allegedly, that we'll say, there was a meeting with the Orange County Board of Supervisors, and this particular doctor was accused of talking about children in school being able to get a jab for the STDs without parent consent, and that they were going to look into whether or not the same could be done with the current virus, whether it was able to do that or not. A lot of people were very upset about that because they thought that he was talking about that because he, in fact, did want to be able to allow children returning to school to get the jab for the latest virus without parental consent. And of course, he said, oh, no, I never said that, even though people heard him and all that. They said, no, I never said that. So anyway, all right, let's go into the reading of the Bible because we need that more than anything. We're at Romans chapter 12. living sacrifices to God. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable to God, which is your reasonable service. And do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Serve God with spiritual gifts. For I say, through the grace given to me, to everyone who's among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly, as God hath dealt to each one a measure of faith. For as we have many members in one body, but all the members do not have the same function, so we, being many, are one body in Christ and individually members of one another. Having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us, let us use them. If prophecy, let us prophesy in proportion to our faith. Or ministry, let us use it as our ministering. He who teaches in teaching, he who exhorts in exhortation, he who gives with liberality, he who leads with diligence, he who shows mercy with cheerfulness. Behave like a Christian. Let love be without hypocrisy. Abhor what is evil. Cling to what is good. Be kindly affectionate to one another with brotherly love, in honor giving preference to one another, not lagging in diligence, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord, rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing steadfastly in prayer, distributing to the needs of the saints, given to hospitality. Bless those who persecute you, bless and do not curse. Rejoice with those who rejoice and weep with those who weep. Be of the same mind toward one another. Do not set your mind on high things, but associate with the humble. Do not be wise in your own opinion. Repay no one evil for evil. Have regard for good things in the sight of all men. If it is possible, as much as depends on you, live peacefully with all men. Beloved, do not avenge yourselves, but rather give place to wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, says the Lord. Therefore, if your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he is thirsty, give him a drink. For in so doing, you will heap coals of fire on his head. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. And we talked about that yesterday. Don't fall into the trap of believing the propaganda and what's being pushed to divide you, race by race, people, whatever the case may be. Harry, good to see you. Just remember that that is not God's way. That is the way of the enemy to basically control you, and don't allow that to happen to you. Okay, so let me go back here. I have to do, where is that? All right, can't get back to my page. Sorry, guys. 1 second. There we go. Submit to government. Let every soul be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and the authorities that exist are appointed by God. Therefore, whoever resists the authority resists the ordinance of God, and those who resist will bring judgment on themselves. For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to evil. Do you want to be unafraid of the authority? Do what is good, and you will have praise from the same. For he is God's minister to you for good. For if you do evil, be afraid, for if he does not bear the sword in vain, for he is God's minister and avenger to execute wrath on him who practices evil. Therefore, you must be subject, not only because of wrath, but also for conscience' sake. For because of this, you also pay taxes, for they are God's ministers, attending continually to this very thing. Render therefore to all their due, taxes to whom taxes are due, customs to whom customs, fear to whom fear, honor to whom honor. Love your neighbor. Owe no one anything except to love one another, for he who loves another has fulfilled the law. For the commandments, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not murder, you shall not steal, you shall not bear false witness, you shall not covet, and if there is any other commandment, are all summed up in this saying, namely, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. Love does no harm to a neighbor, therefore love is the fulfillment of the law. Put on Christ, and do this knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. For now our salvation is nearer than when we first believed. The night is far spent, the day is at hand. Therefore let us cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light. Let us walk properly as in the day, not in revelry and drunkenness, not in lewdness and lust, not in strife and envy, but put on the Lord Jesus Christ, and make no provision for the flesh to fulfill its lusts. Chapter 14. See any comments? Okay. The law of liberty. Receive one who is weak in the faith, but not to disputes over doubtful things. For one believes he may eat all things, but he who is weak eats only vegetables. Let him not who eats despise him who does not eat, and let not him who does not eat judge him who eats, for God has received him. Who are you to judge another's servant? To his own master he stands or falls. Indeed, he will be made to stand, for God is able to make him stand. One person esteems one day another above another esteems every day alike. Let each be fully convinced in his own mind. He who observes the day observes it to the Lord, and he who does not observe the day to the Lord, he does not observe it. He who eats, eats to the Lord, for he gives God thanks. And he who does not eat to the Lord, he does not eat and gives God thanks. For none of us lives to himself, and no one dies to himself. For if we live to the Lord, and if we die to the Lord. Therefore, whether we live or die, we are the Lord's. For to this end Christ died and rose and lived again, that he might be Lord of both the dead and the living. But why do you judge your brother, or why do you show contempt for your brother? For we shall all stand before the judgment seat of Christ, for it is written, as I live, says the Lord, every knee shall bow to me, and every tongue shall confess to God. So then each of us shall give account of himself to God. Therefore, let us not judge one another anymore, but rather resolve this, not to put a stumbling block or a cause to fall in our brother's way. The law of love. I know and am convinced by the Lord Jesus that there is nothing unclean of itself, but to him who considers anything to be unclean, to him it is unclean. Yet if your brother is grieved because of your food, you are no longer walking in love. Do not destroy with your food the one whom Christ died. Therefore, do not let your good be spoken of as evil, for the kingdom of God is not eating and drinking, but righteousness and peace and joy in the Holy Spirit. For he who serves Christ in these things is acceptable to God and approved by men. Therefore, let us pursue the things which make for peace, and the things by which one may edify another. Do not destroy the work of God for the sake of food. All things indeed are pure, but it is evil for the man who eats with offense. It is good neither to eat meat, nor drink wine, nor do anything by which your brother stumbles, or is offended, or is made weak. Do you have faith? Have it to yourself before God. Happy is he who does not condemn himself in what he approves, but he who doubts is condemned if he eats, because he does not eat from faith. Whatever is not from faith is sin. Now, I think I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to stop a little bit early there, since that's a longer passage, and we'll pick that back up on Monday, should we not be raptured up during the weekend, which would be so great. Anyway, thank you for being here. I hope you have a blessed day, a blessed weekend. Please, if you will, share this with everyone. And until Monday,